we would like to disseminate all the illusions. This is only 16 days period, and the year rate is percentage that we have. And what cars does she have? I'm gonna tell you now. This is written in the frame, 6 by 6 centimeters, and it is somehow tens of thousands there. And how are you going to be living with a person who is not up to be actually giving it away? But I'm not going to be giving it away. So you could be giving it away by 1,000. What's going to happen with the debt? It's in the trial stage. I'm very happy for this. So you never get the money, or never ask the money, or never request the money. Who you ask? We actually have contracts with companies in different regions. So what are those collector companies? Are those big guys with the biceps and all the things? As a rule, we usually, to let you know, the most cost part of their work is getting somewhere, and if they go get there, it's a lot of cost, and if they go there, there is no anyone there, it's a lot of cost, but they are not getting anything. But so how is it about them going to there, getting 80,000 from them, and having 40,000 to them and giving 40 back? There are no such contracts that we have. It's just the usual scheme that we have. Contract scheme that we have. So what are you telling? You're just sitting here and you have made this crime. You're sitting here as a white. Are you being here paid for being, and are you being paid here for being? Just look at what's happening. Here, look, it is everywhere, and all those companies should be under the trial. 830 companies under. I would like to ask Alexander Belezin, and he used to be working. He used to be working with collectors who kind of doing the job that they do. You're telling the problem in collectors. You're telling the problem in collectors. Of course it is, and the money goes into the. It's just without any conversation. What kind of relation does it have? Doesn't have any relation to it as far as I know. So what is it about the collectors being under checking? He said the collectors in the mask, it's just the pressure from the police. I know Anton for some time, and it was about help, and he has 2 kids. To see him going somewhere, going into some kind of an apartment and raping someone, it will never happen. It will never happen. So I have the question: if those were collectors, how did it turn out that the husband is in the company? So it is said that he gave false details, false description. It was such a thing. Those organizations, they are private organizations. So as how you're telling it, he just told onto himself under the pressure. It's not such. They're not giving money to the police. They just use in a perfection of the law, and they're using the police who are kind of already sacked or laid out of work, and they just use this kind of specifics to kind of make. So why are those small spaces that there are? They just burn them. They just kind of do such things. We have gone through such questions many times, and sometimes, yes, indeed, those collectors, kind of insane ones, work under the cover of the roof, and they kind of will be gotten by the police, by the true police. And if it is about the collectors, are those the collectors that you hire? Let's say that the criminal doesn't have profession, as between the medical workers or collectors. I think we are all here literate, and from the trial committee there are evidence saying that collectors do not have any relation to it. And this is to go with the false making of the sale of the house. And you may be going on for other checks or for further checks onto the website. Well, I haven't understood it all. What kind of false making of the selling the house? It was help to them. So it's all getting into the huge kind of screams from several parties, and it is about the family that they have, and many calls, or some calls that they were made, and some kind of immoral life, and someone kind of knowing and not knowing what it is there. So it is asked, is it the false making or isn't false making? And there is a son, so the son has made strange guys go onto his mom and onto his stepfather, and they will be kind of looking at it after more further when they're in the studio. Wait. Sure. Let's listen to the Gabonovci 2 months ago said that the collectors wanted to hit out of her the debt, the huge astronomical sum, and the money wasn't there, and this led to the collectors hitting and kind of punishing her. The debt that kind of accumulated was 240,000 rubles, and this is what led collectors to her. The links led collectors to Anton Nikolaev, and it is about this case, the trial case, and he is being for the victim of the attack, and now it is also about the son of Natalia as well. And let's talk about this in our studio. Hi. Was there anything that Lida, who's the wife of Anton, asked you about the things? It was such a thing that there were bandits who won't get away from us if we don't leave. And he has offered. So when there was an attack, you knew that Anton is an organizer. So let's listen to what was said in on the air before. As how it was said, I wanted to close the door. They have attacked me. One get onto me and kind of hit my nose and put me onto the floor. And then they kind of went on to others and as well mothers, and they were screaming. They were aggressive, and they were screaming, "Where's the money?" I was in the police, and I told them the evidence. So this was about the criminals. The criminals, and it's getting into the screens. So, do you understand that you have put under attack, under danger, your parents? You're worse than them. You're worse than you're worse than the criminals, and you have made it such as how they went on to them, and you didn't know. What's your age? What's your age? 17. And do you love your mom? Was it worth all of it to make her an accessible person? He isn't to blame. We came here for the help. So it isn't about what is this hate and love of your mom. They are under they are the victims. What was what was said to you by Anton? What did he promise? He came. He came and said that the bandits won't get away from us without death. And he said, I kind of am worried. I am sorry for you and mom, and we need to make mom live from the stepfather. And after he said that the situation, he said that it is the false making of the collectors. And he said that don't be afraid. So you think if they went away, it will improve, it will disappear, or if it was such, they will disappear. So the house would go onto the covering of the dead. So mother won't have the place to live with the stepfather. So a son is hoping for the house is being sold, and the debt was being covered, and mom won't be having the debts, and the stepfather is working, and there is no hope. The guy is understanding this, the son is understanding this. He will know that mother's debts will go away. And he thinks that they with mom will go another side. So it's about the registration as well. Wait 1 second. When he told this, I was afraid for me. I was afraid for my mother and me. I just got scared for myself, and mom is just like going into the insane hate and all these things. Can you kind of answer for your actions? What were you thinking when? Do you understand that you are making him afraid? 28 years and 17 years. Compare it. When did those things appear from? Well, where have they appeared from? So this is an interesting thing. So 2 months ago you said. So say, what was real there? I went opening the door. I noticed them that they went into the open window, and kind of I fell down. It was them getting into, and there was kind of a punch or a hit, and they went onto the mom, and they started doing something to her, and kind of hitting or something, and they were doing big steps, making hurt. They kept screaming, "Where is the money?" So the whole way it went it was about those things happening to his mom and him, and what and it is also about some kind of false making. Is there a thing about? Is there a real thing? Is there a thing about the rape? So there are aggressive attacks and actions. And what's the difference between rape and aggressive actions? But on air, please. Rape, we understand, but aggressive actions or kind of danger of aggressive actions is such an action that have such a bad shade of it, and such a bad shade of an action. So it is more of when it's bad for the son when they do such a thing to the mother, and it's such a thing when they show their genitalia. So wasn't there something wasn't there something about this when it was? No. Discussed. Wasn't there something discussed about this thing when it was then? No. So it was dark there. I didn't know what they were doing. I was under the couch. So you're such a person with such a face, and you're standing there. Please help! Please help! Please help! Okay, we understand that we need to regulate or find out this or kind of make out the situation. Please tell that, tell us how it was then. Did he take you over your chest and hit you and say, tell it, and I will tell it to you? If you were scared, you would go to the police and tell about it. I have already said that he said that the bandits won't go away from us. It was truth. You properly said it. Was there any expertise or examinations? You could actually think that you may actually think that he could just throw her on the couch or do something to her. Vadim, you're telling. So it is open-hearted. Truth-saying is kind of difficult to be making. It is several months or 2 months already after or past, and it took some time for us to make it. And it's a full false making. Collectors kind of cowards, and the families in shame. In the epicenter, there is a young, growing, talented Vadim, and he is the kind of open or army-going person, or able-going army person. And it is about the Ochim who he didn't want to be living with. So those dead went on to the guys who were together in the apartment. There was no will to be living with the stepfather together. The young person didn't have enough understanding to actually make out the situation, and he decided to kind of resolve the situation. So in the silent thing, there are many. So it's kind of hard to understand what should have Vadim done. So there's such a big dead situation in the family, and the family is to be made out of it. Or is the house under the arrest? Is it the question of lease or rent or kind of lease or debt credit? So the young person decides to kind of do several revits. And Anton decided to resolve the situation by making money